But how does an attacker actually approach your organization as a target? What is the thought process that they go through? A kill chain that was developed by Lockheed Martin. So Lockheed Martin are a big defense contractor, do a lot of work in the military space. And what they came up with was this, what they call the cyber kill chain. So this is an attack pattern that typically, bad guys would follow from reconnaissance all the way through to final action on objectives. Reconnaissance, this is where the attacker will identify a target. So, who am I going after? Why am I going after them? There are a lot of ways that attackers can identify targets, whether that's by a particular sector, a particular company. They have lots of metrics that they like to use. It could be as simple as they just happen to find your public IP address, so how you access the internet, and there may be a particular vulnerability that's being presented to the outside world. They don't particularly care that you're a law firm or you sell widgets or whatever it is. Because you have this particular vulnerability, you become a target. So once they've identified their target, they then move on to the next stage, which is weaponisation. So this is identifying how they're actually going to attack you or exploit you. Maybe they need to craft that phishing email. Maybe it's something more sophisticated. Maybe it's a particular piece of code or an attack against a web server, for example. They craft their weapons effectively to then move on to the next stage and deliver that against you as an organization. Again, it could be something as simple as sending that email and hoping it gets through, or it could be more technical and actually exploiting a particular vulnerability. Once they've delivered, then they seek to actually actively exploit. So that could be, again, one of your users or someone within your organization, a colleague, potentially opening up that email and responding to it. It may look legitimate, but as we all know, that's what phishing emails are designed to look like. Someone discloses their credentials, responds, give away an answer, whatever it is. This is the exploitation phase. So actually the active exploit to get into your organization. Once that exploitation is successful, then attackers typically look to move to the next phase, which is actually installing some sort of backdoor or presence into your system. So they want to maintain that access into the organization. Once you've got that, obviously you don't need to keep sending emails, you don't need to keep attacking. Once you've established that presence, that's their route in. Then they move on to command and control. So with that backdoor, with that remote access, whatever it is established, they then have effectively access to your network and are able to enumerate, see what's going on. This particular email address, for example, the individual that responded to my initial phishing email, who are they? What do they do? What clients are they speaking to? What level of access do they have? If they've exploited a technical vulnerability, what does this server do? Can I go from here to other points within the environment? Step 6 is very much exploring the environment, finding out what they've got and how they can effectively monetize that, which moves us on to obviously the final step, which is step 7, actions on objectives. That will be cashing out effectively, whether that's deploying ransomware, whether it's invoice redirection fraud. This is the final step where they actively look to monetize whatever access that they've got. Typically, these steps can vary in length from start to finish. Sometimes it can be as quick as 24 hours or less to go from reconnaissance to actions on objectives. For more sophisticated attacks, they go low, they go slow. It could be weeks, months. Often there can be different actors involved in the chain. So the first sort of 2 or 3 steps can be dealt with by one group of bad guys who will then sell that initial access onto a different organization who may have a different speciality and may actually be the ones who are deploying ransomware or trying to extort money from you. So not always a single attacker. Sometimes it can be a group or different groups that make up this chain.